Yo, what's up? It's Nick here with Living Rich, and today I'm going to do a video about food, and I'm not going to cite any sources, I'm not going to give any evidence, and you're just going to have to take my word for it. Just kidding. But you will have to, in order to realize the truth of what I'm saying, or if it's the truth for you, you're going to have to do some experimentation. You're going to have to change the way you eat for a temporary amount of time, and then decide for yourself whether what I'm saying works out for you or not. So, back to food. Food is a tricky subject. I've generally left it off this channel because it's so very controversial. And it's so, there's so much taboo around certain diets, there's so much taboo around eating meat, there's so much taboo around, being vegan even too. So it's a very, very polarized subject. And what I would challenge you to do is step aside your own biases, first of all, and also any biases that your culture has. And furthermore, step aside the biases of what's quote-unquote good. What's the, good tasting food. Because I challenge you to say that if you're living in a situation where you haven't had food that's super nutritious, that's really satisfies you on a deep level, and you're coming from an area of eating, some highly processed or highly commercial farm meat, or food that's like just made to be palatable on the tongue and not made for any other reason, then you're going to find highly nutritious food at first is going to be weird. It's going to come from places you're like, what? Ew. It's going to contain like deep taste that you're going to be like, wow, ooh, what's that? It's going to be a little funny for you. But I would challenge you to not necessarily stick it out, but give it a chance. Give it a chance, and then also look at all your options for nutritious food, like highly nutritious food, like power food, and that you would be okay with eating, or that tastes good to you. Because not everybody, for example, there's a train coming. Not everybody, for example, is good with dairy, and not all dairy is good. Not everybody, needs to eat land animals, but some sort of animal fat is most of the time necessary in a diet for a healthy life. But also in addition to all of this, the type of animal, I'm gonna wait till the train passes. The type of animal fat and where it's from and how the animal was raised, and like what part of the body, if you're getting enough fat, actual fat, in proportion to your proteins, all that fun stuff is what we're going to look at in this episode. Maybe not so in depth, but just as an idea to get you started thinking about some new stuff. And so I'm going to talk about this. Back in the day, and I lied, I'm actually going to give a few sources for you to look into. If you're so literary inclined, very good sources, by the way, highly recommended. But I'll do those probably a little later on to wrap the video. So, back in the day, we all lived in tribes, and we kind of hunted and gathered for our food, and we lived off the land, more or less. We still live off the land, but it's in a like more mass manufactured. And I'm not against profit, but the way stuff is done is sort of deceptive. Like we make more food, more volume of food, but the food that we do make is less nutritious. So in reality, we're like mass producing. A lot of times we're mass producing like fiber, for example, if you're having vegetables. And this, I'm going to touch on subjects just for the sake of brevity. I'm going to get through them really quick. If you have any questions, I love talking about this subject, so please, let me know in the comments below, and I'll address them, and I'll do more videos about this. But all right, let me crouch down here. Hopefully this doesn't get unbearably long because I'm, giving this huge intro. So food. Back in the day, we hunted and gathered. The food that was around most of the time was a lot more nutrient dense than the food that we eat now, and we wasted less of an animal than we do now. So for example, back in the day, we would eat every little organ in the animal, and now you're thinking like, ew, no, like we're so abundant, we don't need to do that anymore. But I would challenge you to change the way you're thinking about, organ meats, and kind of think about, think as if you were like an Indian back in the day, a Native American, and here's what I'm just going to tell you what the Native Americans did, because I've read this. They would eat the organs from the animals first. The first thing that, from this one account that I read in the book called Nutrition and Physical Degeneration by Weston A. Price, which is a fantastic, very fundamental book on nutrition and native diets compared to modernized diets. What this Indian tribe would do was they would kill the deer, for example, and then they would take the kidney fat, like right after they killed it, and they would partition it up among the tribe members, and that would be the first thing they would be eating. And then the rest of the organs they would eat first, and they would generally give the muscle meat to the dogs. And now you're asking, why would they do this? Well, I think we've come to associate and be adjusted to blander tasting food within the past few decades even. I think our palates are very destroyed, basically, or bland because of flour, sugar, everything that makes shit taste, just generally nice, but not necessarily nutritious. And we've stopped doing stuff like, for example, sauerkraut and sausage, and I'm sure people still eat sausage, but or like eating liver, like even back 100 years ago, or even less than that, people like ate liver and it's a delicacy. Now it's like really fading out, and people are like, let's eat prime rib, which is great. I love prime rib, but there's things that are better, things that are more nutritious, deeper tasting, and we've lost our palate for this. And so, in essence, what I would challenge you to do, I would challenge you to kind of re-examine your palate and look at the things that you like as opposed to the things that are good for you, and not what modern society says is good for you, what your body tells you is good for you, what just fucking switches you on. I want you to find your power foods. And when I mean power foods, I mean when you're totally switched on, when everything in your life just lines up. And it might sound like I'm talking about luck, which I am, because luck comes from, having a good foundation in your life. So, what are your power foods? What are your power situations, even otherwise? What are things that fuel you to be the best you can possibly be? And look for those. So the books that I would recommend you reading, Nutrition and Physical Degeneration by Weston A. Price. Fantastic read. How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy by Paul Chek. I'm trying to think what else I got. I've heard Pottinger's Cats is a good book to read on the same sort of subject. I've only heard accounts of it though, so maybe you can look into that. I actually have to get that and read that quite soon. But the basis behind this video, just to kind of make it clear and keep the video concise, is don't believe your taste buds, believe the way the food makes you feel. And find your power foods so you can fuel that good life, so you can have that great sex, so you can, make that money, so you can, live in luxury, so you can spend great time with your family and be totally present and have the energy to keep up with your kids and have the energy to live your life the way you want to and to live your day the way you want to. Because at the end, if you look at any of the shit you do for personal growth, that's what it's for. It's so you can do what you want, so you can be abundant, resilient, healthy, happy people. And I am pretty super passionate about, the food that people eat and that I eat. And I think there's a lot of room for improvement. And it's the foundation in your life. It's like you pay about the same amount for food as you do for rent, or at least I do. Probably a little more for food, but it most likely it does influence your life more than the house you live in. At a certain point, shelter just becomes shelter. But food quality is always on this sliding scale. And the lower quality of the food that you're having, the lower quality your experience in life throughout your entire day is going to be. If you think about it, you're in your house for maybe 12 hours a day, on average. You're in your body for 24 all the time. You have to live with it. You have to be with it. You have to sleep in it. I mean, maybe you can argue other things what happens during sleep, but the point is that the food will also will influence the quality of your sleep. It will influence the quality of your interactions in your life. It will influence how much money you're going to make in life. I can speak from experience. Like, I can work so much smarter and so much harder now as compared to like when I was a kid just eating shit food, or when I was like a young adult, like trying to be vegan or something. Like, I just didn't have any strength to do anything. And it's like you don't have the power to change anything if you don't eat correctly, or your power gets skewed and like filtered through like lenses of emotions that just take control of you, instead of this energy being available to you as an entity to make changes in the world. And last note I'll make is that it gives your life a certain viscosity when you eat powerfully. When you eat power foods, it gives you a tenacity, and it gives your experience like a viscosity feel. You can touch it, you can feel it, you can move through it with ease and power. And that's what I want for you. That's what I want for everyone, really, is to be able to move through life with power and to get what they want, and to be able to like tackle it and see where we go from there. Alright, thank you for watching. This has been a little bit of a long video. Like I said, if you have any questions or comments, please comment below. It's been a great time talking to you. Merry Christmas, and I will see you later.